The Colombian government have just revealed that they have just captured a fallen angel technology.
Spherical item that was found in Colombia and that locals believe to be of alien origin have been made public by scientists.
Es increíble y está totalmente fría.
An alien UFO sphere that apparently ended up crashing in Colombia just a couple of weeks ago. And there are some inscriptions on the sphere which seems to have been embroidered through the metal surface. And what the sphere was able to do has now started causing panic. It seems like this technology does not exist on Earth, or at least something that we don't really know of as of now. Now this right here is like the first look that we actually got to take a look at the sphere. And as you can see, there seems to be some sort of an embroidered chip mechanism that's been carved through the sphere, and the whole body is made out of some sort of a metallic substance. Now initially this sphere landed in a place called Buga in Colombia, and these are some of the footage that the locals have managed to capture.
UFO was allegedly spotted over the town of Buga, Colombia, zigzagging through the sky in a way that defies the movement of conventional aircraft. Although, to be clear, I don't think it actually defies the way drones move. But all of that being the case, it flew through the sky for a considerable period of time after allegedly encountering some power lines on top of a mountain, although this wasn't filmed either. And then eventually the object came to rest in the hills of Colombia.
So apparently what happened was that this whole object, it was flying around for like a very long time. And after a while, it decided to move on to the mountain terrains. And there, it kind of came into contact with some of the electrical power lines. And that's where the object ended up crashing. Now, obviously, people are intrigued to know what this whole thing is, this bizarre thing that's flying across the sky. So they went to investigate this thing. And that's apparently when they ended up finding this thing right here, which seems to be some sort of a very weird looking spear, and this could literally fly. And they've also done some very bizarre testing on this thing. And from all the tests that they've run so far, it seems like the scientists have already confirmed that this kind of technology does not exist, or at least something that they have never seen so far that we humans possess. Now, some of the inscriptions that are engraved around here, the researchers have been saying that these are the Samaritan language, which is the language of the Anunnakis, the ancient gods that people used to worship, who we also know as the fallen angels. But these are the same inscriptions that were also found in many different ancient artifacts, as well as in some of the caves. And it was a very similar language that was also used on the inscriptions that you can find in pyramids. And they were also the same kind of language that you see in inscriptions on some of these Anunnaki statues, as well as artifacts that we currently possess. Now, what's actually terrifying about this whole situation is that the Pentagon has just confirmed that this whole ancient civilization, also known as the fallen angels, are now prepared to be returning. And this is something that the Pentagon has known for a while, and they've been in contact with these species. And now they've officially revealed this to the public agency that the Anunnakis may be returning to Earth very soon, according to some of the recent interviews which was made with a man that is an insider source of Pentagon, who now claims that Anunnakis are indeed real. There are different types of these fallen angels, and they are said to be returning to Earth right now after all of these thousands of years. I think you guys should actually take a look at this interview right here.
That the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow! Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword in
the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover-up here, they kind of, in whispered tones, talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
You also see how he specifically mentions them to be called as the fallen angels.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the ancient names.
Do you think that has anything to do with why we're in Iraq?
I mean, obviously, it seems like the government already knows what's going on. The Pentagon has a lot of secrets, and that's something that we've known for a very long time. The CIA has been running many different subjects and many different tests on these things. And now, out of all this time, we have just found something that's just phenomenal. Because this right here, this technology seems to be way beyond what we have understood so far. Because I need you guys to take a look at this video completely. And honestly, I think you guys should take a look
The
at this
excited
video
observers
completely.
immediately began to look for the object and came up with this, a bizarre-looking sphere with equally bizarre-looking writing all over it, approximately the size of a soccer ball, perhaps a little bit bigger than that. And since that time, the object has been examined by a Dr. Jose Luis Velasquez, a radiologist, who claims that the object has no welds or joints, which would typically indicate human fabrication, and it also features 3 layers of metal-like material
Wow.
and 18 microspheres surrounding
18 microspheres. What does that mean? So the microspheres are possibly like helping it in order to rotate inside because there are like these very tiny balls inside.
a central
There are
nucleus
18
that they
layers
are
as well.
calling a chip. Very strange object, at least according to them. Is this finally the real thing or an elaborate hoax? Well, that's what we're going to try to figure out on this special alien bulletin on the Angry Astronaut.
So apparently I went through this whole situation, tried to do my research about this whole thing. I even looked into ChatGPT in order to find some more information about what's really going on with this Buga Sphere. And apparently that's what they call it, the Buga Sphere, because this was found in the location named Buga in Colombia, where a mysterious metallic object that reportedly descended near Buga, Colombia on March of 2025. People observed that this thing was flying in a zigzag pattern before it landed. Locals retrieved the sphere, noting its unusual properties, where the sphere is supposedly emitting smoke when you simply just pour water on it. So they thought that maybe there's something cold or hot inside the sphere, but then we can't really feel it outside. So they decided to go ahead and pour both cold water as well as hot water. Now, usually when you pour a boiling hot water on a metal surface, that would eventually get the metal surface in order to turn hot. But in this sphere's case, apparently it seems like it remained cold even under very highly treated temperatures, and its weight apparently seems to be increasing over time from approximately 2 kilograms to nearly 10 kilograms within a couple of days. Now, they didn't have to do anything. It just automatically increased its weight from 2 kgs to 10 kgs. That's just very bizarre. Now, scientific examinations revealed that the sphere is composed of 3 metallic layers, which contains of 18 symmetrical microspheres surrounding a central nucleus, which is referred to as a chip. And no visible wheels or joints were found, suggesting that it's a non-human manufacture. And it also has some of the ancient Sumerian symbols that resembles ruins. Ogham and Mesopotamian scriptures were found in its surface. And they've also used AI in order to research this thing. And the inscriptions that they've read so far using the AI technology, it seems like the researchers found that these are some sort of a philosophical message about consciousness and Earth's transformation. Now, it is said that the object is currently in possession of Mexican journalist and UFO researcher Jaime Maussan, who is currently doing the research and conducting further studies. And the Colombian government has also shown interest in the sphere, but the original finder had refused to relinquish the object to anyone else. Now, this is one of the most bizarre things. I don't know why nobody's talking about this thing, but what they've found so far, I think they also shared some of the video footage of them testing this thing out. Where initially they were holding it in their hands, and apparently that's something a lot of people are finding very skeptical because, you know, usually when you find some of these objects, you don't just hold it in your hands, because just take a look at how they've been
until weeks
holding
later.
this thing in their hands.
First of all, this makes me a little bit suspicious just how all of this was put together. First of all, look at the size of this object and how well it shows up on camera in spite of the colossal distances involved. Now let's have a look at a football match with an object that's only a little bit smaller than the supposed recovered object, and look how tiny this object is. I mean, the only reason you can really see it clearly is because it's white, and also though the observer is zoomed in on it. And once again, this is on a football pitch. We're only looking at about 100 meters or so here, and when he zooms back, as you just saw there, you lose sight of the object entirely. I mean,
you can only see the object as clear as this.
Not sure.
I mean, it's just moving around, and if they just capture something like this obviously means that the object is supposed to be much larger in size.
Same object. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty certain that it is.
And look at that stuff. That's where they found it.
Look at that. Now, once again, I wasn't there. I don't know about the scale of the trees, but that looks much bigger than the recovered object. And also, I don't see any features on it whatsoever. Now, let's take a closer look at the object in flight again with the stabilized image. And what we are seeing here is a featureless silver sphere. I mean, there appear to be an object that
And also take a look at this footage right here. It seems like they have been pouring water on top of it, and for whatever reason people have been touching it, and as you can see, as they pour water, there seems to be smoke coming out of this object, and they've been touching it with bare hands. They have no idea what the hell that is. And that's one of the reasons why, people are finding it very skeptical, because why would anyone touch it with bare hands, and they don't even know what the hell that is. And apparently this is basically how the whole thing looks. Some people are saying that this is just, people creating false rumors and, making shit up that's not really true. And I don't know. This could be a very, very false flag stuff. But at the same time, if this is true, we have also found some more spherical stuff. And, recently we also found some of the discoveries which is coming from the Pentagon officials, where they said that some of the alien crafts that they have found seems to be egg-like shape. And they also said that these things are round in shape, they're spherical. And also many people, and I mean many footage have been coming out so far, where you can actually witness that all the UFOs that people have been sighting so far, there have been many spherical shaped UFOs that have been flying across the sky, and nobody knows what the hell that was. And maybe this could be the answer, that out of nowhere this thing ended up crashing because it just came in contact with some of the electrical lines. That could be truth, but of course, I'm not saying that this whole thing is indeed the actual truth at the end of the day. And what's interesting about the situation is that the CIA, as well as the Pentagon, they have now confirmed that Anunnakis are going to be returning soon, and they've been having contact with these species, and they've also been mentioning that they want to be coming back to Earth after all these years, and that the technology and everything that we possess. And also, for those of you guys who are not Christians, obviously Christians know, if you've been reading your Bible, then you would obviously know that this amazing book right here, it actually has a lot of information about these fallen angels. And as far as what the Bible teaches, we know that the Anunnakis were the fallen angels who came down to Earth, and they went against God and taught us some of the forbidden knowledge. And the forbidden knowledges include some of the technologies. Also got to learn some of these astrological stuff, where you could read stars, you could read tarot cards, Ouija boards, and all these spiritual stuff. So these things were created by Satan and his army of fallen angels, and they decided to teach these things to humankind so that we can communicate with them and open a channel of gates through which demons and these negative spirits could just walk right through in. So apparently some of the things that the Pentagon officials have confirmed, it seems like these Anunnakis are going to be coming back. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at the reference the Bible says about this stuff, let's take a look at what the Pentagon officials have to say about this stuff.
The Pentagon and the military circles that are in the know about the cover-up here, they kind of, in whispered tones, talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the other ancient names.
Do you think that has anything to do with why we're in Iraq?
I mean, as you can see, some people call this as the aliens. We usually like to call them as aliens because aliens are something that we don't know what those are. They are the living creatures, but then we don't know what those things are. So obviously, we don't know what the fallen angels look like. The only thing that we know so far are the ancient scriptures and some of the inscriptions that we've read so far. And we've tried to interpret the language, translate it. And that's basically how we know that Anunnakis were like the ancient civilizations that existed on Earth. And the Bible already says that these were the fallen angels. You're not supposed to worship them. They are against God, and that's something that the Samaritans usually used to do back in those times, which is considered as a very false practice. And now, lads, after all this time, it's very terrifying because the Pentagon has now been officially saying these Anunnakis are now going to be returning, and then we found this technology which seems to be bizarrely flying across the sky, but then we don't really have an exact answer as to what this is. So it seems like they're doing some research, and we will very soon find out what it is if we get some further information, which is being confirmed from the government officials of Colombia, because right now they are also involved in this whole research. So we will very soon know if this is a hoax or if this is actually something that we should really be worried about. Now, what's interesting is that in the Bible, in Revelation, it also says that the Antichrist, the one dude who is the son of Satan, who's going to be controlling the entire world, the day when he rises up to power, he's also going to be unleashing these fallen angels that are bounded by chains underneath the earth. So if you don't know the scriptures, let me just explain this in a very simple terms. Because there's this river called River Euphrates, which is currently being dried up to completely 100%. Now, according to the scriptures, it is said that underneath this Euphrates River, God has basically chained a couple of these fallen angels who are the ones that actually taught some of these forbidden knowledge to humankind. So God was not happy about it because these fallen angels, they were teaching some of these forbidden blasphemies, knowledges that God was not intending for us humans to know. At the same time, they also mated with human women and they gave birth to some of these giants. So these were some of the things that God was really not pleased with. So he decided to chain these angels and then put them all the way down beneath the river. And the scripture says that during the end times, the Antichrist, he will release these angels and they will kill 1/3 of humankind. And now we hear stuff from Pentagon stating that these Anunnakis, the fallen angels, are going to be returning once again because they claim that this earth belongs to them and that they were the original civilization. Every day it's just exciting stuff because there's always something very bizarre and new that we just keep finding all the time. So I will, of course, keep you guys updated if you get any further on information about this whole situation that's going on with the new spear that they've just found. If you guys want to stay updated with this stuff, make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so that you guys can always keep yourself updated with everything that's going on in the world, because this channel is where I have dedicated myself in order to bring out all the information that you guys need to know that no other channel or any source are currently sharing. So I'll do my best in order to, cover these information so that you guys can get informed and stay informed as to what's currently happening in the world. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's show. I hope you guys do enjoy all of these podcasts that I've been doing lately on the channel. Now, if you guys did, please just take a few seconds of your valuable time, drop a like on this video. It really goes a long way. It shows your support to the channel. It also helps push the videos algorithm a lot more than you guys think. So your support is very, very much appreciated. And also let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about this stuff? Do you think it's a hoax, or do you think that there could be something bizarre? So yeah, I would love to go ahead and see your comments and reply to as many of you guys as I possibly can. And with that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.